Hello, my quilting friends. My name is Leah Day, and welcome to Mini Block Monday, where I teach you how to piece a mini 3-inch quilt block. So today we're going to piece this hourglass together. For this block, you will need one 2.5-inch square in a dark fabric color and four 1.5-inch squares in a dark fabric color, one 2.5-inch square in a light fabric color, and four 1.5-inch squares in a light fabric color. We're going to begin by making half square triangles out of our 2.5-inch squares. Layer these right sides together, and then place a ruler on top and mark a diagonal line from corner to corner. Now take this to your machine and stitch 1/4 inch to both sides of that center marked line. Once you do that stitching, slice the units apart by cutting right along that marked line. And go ahead and open up your units and press the seam allowances open. Now typically for a half square triangle, you would trim the unit up at this point, but you don't want to do that for this one because we're going to turn these units into an hourglass square. Place them right sides together and stack the seam allowances right in the middle. You want to make sure that when you pull the fabric on top back, you can see how you get this nice checkerboard effect where the fabrics are on opposite sides of each other and you have a perfect match seam in the center. Once you get that all laid out nice, you're going to take your ruler and again mark another diagonal line from corner to corner. I usually pen right in the middle to make sure that my pieces aren't going to slip and I'm still going to get that absolutely perfect center point. Take this to your machine and stitch 1/4 inch to both sides of that marked line. And now here's what it looks like after you do that stitching. And then I'm going to cut this apart to create 2 hourglass squares. So there we go. That is a perfect hourglass square. Again, you'll want to press these seam allowances open and flat. They can tend to get a little bulky. And then you're going to trim this down to measure exactly 1.5 inches square. Now, if you'd like a much more detailed tutorial on how to piece hourglass squares and trim them down accurately, go to leahday.com/HGS. Now let's arrange our block. You're only going to need one hourglass square, and that's going to go right in the center. So for the other one, you can use it for another block, or you can just simply piece 2 of these. So that's going to go in the center and surround it with the lighter 1.5-inch squares. Then the darker 1.5-inch squares go in all 4 corners. You're going to piece this block together in sets of 3. So just piece right across the rows and then piece the rows together, carefully matching these seam lines. And here's what it looks like when you finish your hourglass block. This should measure 3.5 inches square at this point, and when you piece it to other things, it will measure 3 inches square. And this is a particularly special block to me because I used it in the book Mally the Maker and the Queen in the Quilt. Let's just say this block helps the characters save the day. And if you'd like to learn more, you can find this book at mallythemaker.com. So that's it for this tutorial. If you'd like to find more Mini Block Monday videos, click here to find a playlist of them all. And if you'd like more tips on quilt piecing, click here to find a video with my 5 main tips for piecing successfully. And if you'd like to learn even more, I have written a book about piecing. This is How to Piece Perfect Quilts. You can find it on my website at leahday.com/piece. Until next time, let's go quilt.